Oh, lovely bit of football again from Bolton. This is really nice to watch now. And welcome back to another episode and a brand new season of Rebuilding Bolton. I hope you're excited for this, as I am too. If you've been enjoying it so far, drop a like. That'd be most lovely. So last year was just a bit of a write-off in many ways, but the main thing was that we stayed in the championship. That was kind of really the only objective we had. I guess I've got so used to us overperforming that when we actually sort of performed to maybe a level we would have expected, it was a little bit of a surprise. But I do think that, there was a lot of things we could have done tactically to change things, and maybe we could have even had an impact in some of those final games, but I didn't want to start messing with stuff just so that we had a better idea of what we actually needed to change over a larger sample set, quite frankly. So I've been messing with that over the summer transfer window, of course. Although, of course, in friendlies, it's still very difficult to know how well you're actually performing. So it's probably going to take us, I'd say, the first sort of 10 games of this new season as well, with more tactical tweaks, which I'm going to be making constantly, just to try and find out. So I have made a few changes to the tactic, obviously, as you'd expect, but I'm still not opposed to moving some stuff back. I know there was talk about maybe just moving the libero to support might make the difference. Not sure about that one. I'm going to try and go with a ball-playing defender for now and try to adjust some of his personal instructions. The reason I don't believe that the libero and support would fix what we're doing right now is there's very little difference as far as instructions-wise between the two roles, and I don't think that the difference would be enough to fix the problem that we have currently with their way they're positioned. But you might also notice we're now £4 million up into the correct zone, and that's because the board just decided to pay off the debt. They're good guys like that, I would say. And we then had a slight issue with Henry Lawrence on account of him throwing a bit of a tantrum because I couldn't sign coaches that he liked enough, essentially. So I promised him I'd strengthen the coaching staff. I brought in coaches that were quite good. He didn't claim they were good enough, and then we ran out of room to put any more coaches in, so, that old nonsense. Also, I did try to sign Will Jääskeläinen from Nottingham Forest, but sadly he chose Huddersfield on less money. Which is a shame, because it would have been nice to bring him in. I was going to try and bring him in, because he actually didn't look too bad. He didn't look any better than Ziga, but the name alone would have been better, really, wouldn't it? But yeah, he chose to go to Huddersfield instead. Ironic, really, is today we actually start off against Nottingham Forest. So, transfers. We have made some. There have been some paid transfers in there too. There's been a lot of outs as far as released players, but no big sales or anything like that. I needed to clean the squad out a little bit to try to rebuild it somewhat. And I think we've done that. Not only that, but we've been able to bring in some loans from Chelsea again with no strings attached. So I'm glad that problem's fixed. And I'll tell you what happened with that and how we managed to fix that problem in case anyone else has had that problem too. But first, let's just get into the outs. So I'm just going to show you the released players list. So you can see Zidane Iqbal. Basically, I wanted to try and keep him, but he just wanted too much money. Lloyd Isgrove and Zach Clough. Clough, I just feel like was not playing enough for us, and I felt like we could probably do better long term. Plus, again, with the money of him and Isgrove, wasn't right. Hosanna never really got a chance here. Kulovic was a similar story, but don't worry, I brought in another goalkeeper anyway. Ayogoke was the same kind of thing. Callum Cisse, Colvin. Sarcevic as well was a long-term player, but, giving him at 32 another contract here when he wasn't going to play seemed like a bad idea. So those are the players that have left on freeze. There's been a lot of loan players going out as well, mostly to Sligo Rovers, but yeah, we've also extended some loans. The first of which is the man, Niall John. I really wanted to get him back because I felt like I didn't see enough. I didn't feel like he got a big enough chance last season. I think he played a lot of games, and I actually think it was one of our better performers in what was a pretty poor season, and I like the idea of getting him back for another year. Villa were up for it, so I bought him back. Another 1 year extension on the deal, 3.2k a week, quite happy to pay that. So yeah, interested to see what he achieves this year. Hopefully it's good things. And the second loan extension is Sonny Lowe Everton. Again, I felt like I saw enough towards the end of last season from him to make me think that actually, if we could get him back on another loan, that it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world, because sometimes just consistency is important, having those existing links. So I felt like getting him back on another loan deal was probably the right thing for us. So that's what's happened right now. All the other loan players, as far as I can remember, have all gone back to their clubs and will not be returning. But these two, I felt like they showed enough last year for me to do that. Now, some actual signings, there's some lows in there too. The first of these is Ni Lei, a Chinese attacking midfielder that's coming from FC Seoul. Now, in total, the deal could rise to £600,000. Now, this isn't one I signed this summer. I actually signed him 2 years ago nearly, I think it was, maybe 18 months. So I'm still not entirely he's not really developed in the way that I was kind of hoping he would do in that period. So I think this is one of these signings that we may just have to write off eventually. However, Chinese international already, which is something, and I do wonder, particularly as he has no work permit, if there's the potential to perhaps sell him back to maybe a Chinese club later in the save if they do have domestic player requirements. And I'm not sure that they do, but I think there could still be money to be made on a deal like this, essentially. Then we've got Ryan Giles on a free transfer, sorry, not a free transfer, £64,000 from Wolves. I think if I'd have waited, we possibly could have got him free, but there was clubs interested, and I just kind of thought that maybe we should get in there, because as much as he's not good for tackling, Like, his tackling is an obvious weak point, and his positioning isn't spectacular. Sometimes I just wanted a more attacking player to be able to play in that role, just to do a job going forward a bit more, with good crossing, good dribbling, excellent like pace and acceleration. And for £64,000, he's now worth £1.4 million. He's not on a lot of money either. 4-year deal. I thought it was a good piece of business for the price that we paid, just to bring him in anyway, to give us a little bit more support on that left-hand side. You know, 3-star, potential ability of 4-star potentially, 24 years old. I think he's an okay piece of business for this year. We've definitely strengthened, and that's the key thing. Next up is a goalkeeper. This is Rodi de Boer, who was released by AZ Alkmaar. And I've got to be honest, I don't know if he's any better than Ziga, but we were really struggling to find any good goalkeepers in the off-camera period, essentially. Now, the key thing about him is he's a free transfer. He's cost us no money from RZ, and he's already worth nearly £7 million. So that alone, I think, makes it a worthwhile situation for us, and he's only happy to be the backup. I think there's definitely some areas where he's better than Ziga, but I still don't know. I normally don't struggle to find good quality goalkeepers, as far as what the game considers good quality, but this summer was a bit of a mismatch as far as those. Next up is Leighton Clarkson on a free transfer from Liverpool. I'm very confused about... Oh, okay, so they've changed his potential ability thing. This was actually at 5-star when he brought him in, which is weird because he's 22. But at the end of the day, he's got 14 passing, 14 vision, good work rate, tackling is sensational as well, great first touch, good composure, not bad pace and acceleration either. He dictates the tempo, which is very Regan Booty-esque. He likes a free kick too, which admittedly is only 13, but still likes a long-range pass, and that actually doesn't bother us too. Likes ball playing defeat, but he's got a good first touch as well. I think for free, Leighton Clarkson, and only on £975 a week on a 5-year contract, he's a very strange one. Like, it's the first transfer report I've seen, sorry, not transfer report, first scout report I've seen where my scouts have rated a player 100% recommendation. And so I felt that it was just a bit too much of a no-brainer for us to bring this guy in. Given on a 5-year deal on that wages with these kind of abilities so far, we couldn't turn down the opportunity to bring in Leighton Clarkson. Next up is the first of our Chelsea loanees. I mentioned this guy on stream yesterday. This is Wendy Lacazette Roche, or Roche. I'm not sure how the surname would be pronounced. He is French, so I guess it's Roche, although there's no accent on it, so maybe it is just Roche. You might be able to understand why I quite like this guy. So basically, the difference between what's happening now and what was happening before with Chelsea. When you start in the lower leagues, when you sign players from your affiliates, often it will set their squad status to be star player because most of the time that's what they are, or they're regular player, but they're so like low as far as overall quality that they don't care. One thing I've noticed is whenever you try to put loan bids in for players from your affiliate club, it always seems to set regular starter as their squad role by default, and the club are happy to accept that, but the player isn't. And that's why the Chelsea players were turning down our loans. So what I've done now is when we're going after Chelsea players, I'm setting them with a star player because let's face it, he will be. Now, I don't actually think that we actually needed a centre-back per se, but when the opportunity came up to sign this guy on a free loan, essentially, we're paying none of his wages, which are like 40 grand a week, by the way, to Chelsea for a full season. 13 heading, 15 16 tackling, 6'4", 14 pace. I mean, okay, his bravery is the one thing that I'm like, not so sure about, but great physicals, great basic defensive abilities, good vision, good passing as well, very determined. I think that the opportunity to bring in a guy like Wendy here for a season, and it is a full season, I've checked, is a bit of a no-brainer. So I'm really happy to have Wendy at the club, and I think that's just going to strengthen our backline tremendously. Also, I didn't want to see that Ramoni Cristiano-Noble scored for Huddersfield yesterday in real life. I was so happy for him. Because the second of those is this guy. This is Diogo Mata, a Portuguese central midfielder. Very similar story. He's on like £35,000 a week at Chelsea, and they've let us have him for free for the season. He's a central midfielder, good passing, good vision, great first touch, great determination, incredible mentals for an 18-year-old, decent enough physicals too, 6'1", and we've got him for the full season on a free, essentially. And our last signing so far, we finally got ourselves a Korean, my friends. We finally did it. This is Oh Hyun Ho. I'm going to need nicknames for all these guys, of course. Now, he's joined us for what will eventually potentially rise to £1 million, which is, I grant you, a lot of money. But most importantly, he got a work permit. And I don't know why. I guess it's because he's capped at under 19 level? But it's, yeah, hasn't even got any like under 23 caps for South Korea yet, but nevertheless, I like this guy a lot, and I think that with the right opportunities and training, I mean, he's not the best passer of the ball, he's still only 18, but does have good vision and teamwork. There's so many things you could do with him. We could put him deeper, or we could genuinely actually play him as the shadow striker because he does have 12 finishing. Also, 20 determination. You love to see it. Great teamwork as well, great technique. I like this guy, and I saw enough in him to think that he's basically just like that Nile guy, but just way better. So for £1 million in total, 500 up front, I was actually quite happy to make this deal, and we finally got the South Korean talisman to potentially please the board. Not that they actually required that, but I really wanted one, and I think we might have finally found the man for the job. So today we host Forest. Now, Obviously, Villa, for example, were they in this league last year? I've actually forgotten. It's interesting that they were willing to loan Niall John to us in our division. So, obviously, big changes to be made. I do have Ryan Cassidy on trial as well at the moment, who has not been the Ryan Cassidy of previous saves that I've seen, but I'm still kind of tempted to potentially bring him in, just so we've got back up to Temenushkov and a different option up there. It would depend heavily on the money he wants, though. Let me just get rid of the unavailable players, maybe much easier here. It's also noticeable how, we've got less players in this set now, which is actually a good thing in a way for us. So I think that's actually what we're going to go with for now, just as we slowly build things in here. Where's Mata? Is he still unfit? Oh, no, I think Mata's still at an international thingy at the moment, which is frustrating, but what can you do? So it's actually not that different in terms of the lineup for now, because, again, Giles is sort of struggling for fitness at the moment too, so we'll have to get him back there too. However, this is the changes I've made. You can see mostly it's the same. The difference being that now we have a DLP here, because I'm hoping that he'll sit a bit deeper and allowing this inverted wingback to not get in the way as much. I don't know. It does look quite good in the friendlies, but we'll have to see. And I've made the libero into a ball-peeling defender on stopper, so he'll kind of be a bit further forward, but you might actually do the job a bit more. But again, it's going to take some time. The only other change I've made is to go down the wide areas, I think. Underlap right, obviously, because of that. But I think that's the only other change I've really made so far. Once we get into more league games, I will have to start making more tweaks with it right now, but this is what's looked good in friendlies, even against some of the better sides. Like, we played against Colne in a friendly, and that was interesting, actually. Henry Lawrence is already unsure, which is just what you need, though Booty is motivated. Good sign. Everybody's okay, except for Henry Lawrence. And once we get a few of the other players back in as well, we'll be able to slot them into the team quite nicely. I think Mata will get more game time, so will Leighton Clarkson, so will Giles, and it will allow potentially Booty to play in the middle again, which would be nice, because I do think he still plays better there in the grand scheme of things, particularly now, but we will see. Rico Henry down the left-hand side here for Nottingham Forest, and it's a great initial block, but Johnson gets to the rebound, and it's nearly 1-0 Forest inside a minute. Temenushkov's pressing. Temenushkov's won it. He has to give us the lead here. He's struggling for pace there. And, well, the ball... how did they let him get the ball back there? But he looked a bit slow, weirdly. And that's a good strike on goal from Lawrence. Nice vision from Temenushkov. Great play. I want to get a better idea of some of the way the players are positioning themselves as well, particularly now with a deep line playmaker. Less box to box, so that might be one less player getting forward, but it also means we've got one more player in a slightly more defensive zone potentially too. Temenushkov, nice spin. Oh, he's got to find the pass. He does. Low Everton's in. Can he finish? Oh, chance for Low Everton. Lovely run made in behind. That was nice. See, this is what I mean, right? So Lawrence is now sat here, allowing someone like James Bree, I think it's James Bree, into this area, rather than them both seemingly getting in each other's way. So we'll see how that goes as Low Everton's throw. I mean, that nearly went out for a throw-in. Very encouraging sign so far as it's coming in, and it's Wendy Lacazette Roche. Sir, this is the Wendy's. What are you doing scoring in here? And we've got a goal from a set piece as well. Bolton 1, Nottingham Forest 0, and I feel an immediate sense of relief about that. Lovely ball in, and I don't know what the defender's doing, but Lacazette is able to get his foot around that, and he's very tall, isn't he? We don't look anywhere near as vulnerable at the back either. I have thought about maybe moving around like defensive lines and stuff. Oh, just as I say that, Kututsu's through. And remember what happened when we played Forest last time. Big header in midfield to Temenushkov. Can he... Oh, what on earth was that? Temenushkov, can he pull it back for someone maybe? Finds Booty. Men piling into the box. Whips it in. James Bree with a double shot at goal there, and it's just over. Temenushkov round the side for Niall John. Quick little one inside for Low Everton. Can he break the... Oh, what a ball! Oh, lovely bit of football there from just on the edge of the area. Porteous possibly could have slotted us two up there. Space on the edge of the ball. Oh, what a lovely little touch from Regan Booty. Can he maybe win a foul or something? Not quite. He's still got it. And Bree... Oh, I'm cleared away again. Booty will bring it down. We're not done yet, though. Edge of the box for Clarkson. Back for Booty. Whips in again, and Bree can't get there this time. So the only difference really now is you'll notice that Critcho Noble is not here. The problem, though, being that when we lose the ball in this situation, it would leave this giant gap in between our two centre-backs that now just doesn't exist. Clarkson's through. Leighton Clarkson with a shot into the side netting. Oh Hyun Ho can pick it up. Can he get bombing forward for us? He's got Goldston ahead of him. Might be able to go alone here. Might be able to pull it back for someone. Finds Booty again, who's been man of the match, as always. Lawrence. Hyun Ho. Oh, Porteous. Goldston. Porteous! Oh, lovely bit of football again from Bolton. This is really nice to watch now. Oh, Rankin Costello. It's a bit wide. Good save from Ziga. Had to be called into action there. It's a very difficult shot to take on, but he's still got the save in, which is the main thing. Can he cut inside and have a shot? Maybe roll it to someone else. Finds Bree again into a good position. Booty gets into the box. Walls it through, and Porteous is there to tap it home for 2-0 in the 94th minute. That was really nice football, and I'm excited about Bolton this season. I genuinely am. I know it's only one game, and we can't be too drawn in, but just the way every player seems to have a nice little bit of the pitch to themselves. Breeze not getting in the way of the... I can't believe we didn't make that suit. The reason I didn't make that change sooner was genuinely because we were still winning matches, and so it didn't really matter so much to me, and I was worried that, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But then it did break, and Regan Booty has just got his second assist of the night, and is playing a 9. And it's Bolton 2, Nottingham Forest 0. We have been fantastic. This might be the best performance I've seen out of us in legitimately over a year, probably. And that's it. Bolton 2, Forest 0. We've won the match comfortably in the end. We created an XG of 3.53. That might be the highest we've had in the entire save. Wow, and I know that doesn't matter the most, but that is the kind of creativity I want to see from these lads. And ironically, I'd say our finishing is what's let us down today. Defensively, very stable. Very, very good. I'm just super excited for everybody. Like, nobody's played badly today. At all. Again, it's just one game. Things could change, and we still may have to make some tweaks, but I'm excited, and we've still got players to come back in. But if Regan Booty can keep playing like that, then you'll see. So you notice here, we played Colne, and we only lost 2-1. And we played okay in this game. And it's the same kind of thing against Leganes as well. So, next episode... Screw it, we're going to start off with Sunderland and come back with Burnley, since there is 1,000 games in August. So, if you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have, drop a like, that'd be phenomenal. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, that'd be sick too. I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and at the weekend, so go follow there too. And obviously, we've got the second channel as well. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Hold your guns. Capybara. Bye-bye.